much overdue. I originally should have made this video about a good year ago. Or, okay, year ago is a bit extending it. A few months ago, basically. This was around late summer to early fall. Mostly early fall. I got my first job, like official job, because I have job experience, but not at like an official retail store or anything like that until then. And I'm gonna walk you through the whole process of my experience at that store and what that store was. Phase 1, the introduction. When I first applied to this store, I was in desperate need of a job. I need to start working, I need to start making money, I need to start my own independent life. I actually got a phone call from the HR, and he told me that if I can show up on an interview. He was doing things very quickly, so I realized he was in desperate need of a job. Now, let me just friendly remind you that in the application, you write down when you're available to start, what are your preferred times, and and what days you can't or what days you need shorter. Just keep that in mind as I continue to tell you this story. I show up for the interview and I'm well greeted, you know? The HR, extremely nice guy. I'm not gonna use any names because I'm not trying to bash at anyone in particular. I'm just sharing my own experience in an unbiased perspective. The interview went splendid. However, I actually walked into that interview with very, very high confidence, especially after talking to the HR for a little bit, because it sounded like he really wanted to give me the job. Like, it sounded like he needed people. The catch was the department that it was. Now, the responsibilities, great. I was a Cap 1 associate. Basically, what I was in charge of is taking inventory, taking out anything that needs to go to sales floor, and stocking it onto, sales floor. I was in charge of a specific department. However, I worked with other ones within the same category. I worked with food in particular. So that's how it went. That's how the introduction went. Nothing to really complain about. Now I move on to phase 2, the experience. The experience working at Walmart actually went very well. I was given an orientation with about, give or take, 7 other people. Everyone seemed pretty chill, but everyone also seemed like doing their own thing. Now, I didn't actually say this in phase 1, and I should have. This was also my schedule. From 4 in the morning to 1 p.m. I could have chosen that or Cap 2 associate, which is, what was the schedule for that? 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. So obviously, I wasn't trying to work and then show up to go to sleep, to go back to work the next day. So I obviously chose Cap 1 associate. However, they were both bad options. But I needed a job, so I picked it. The experience went well. I made friends literally immediately with my coworkers because we were all learning and we decided to make friends. Extremely nice people, including the guys actually working there. My supervisor was a really, really good guy. I didn't hear the best stuff about him, but he was good to me regardless. Like, he was an extremely nice guy. And I made friends with a bunch of the other associates. One of the guys I became friends with, really, really good guy. He unfortunately got promoted, so I didn't get to see him as much anymore. But then I met another Cap 1 associate who, he was just the funniest guy. I still talk to some of them to this day because they were just like really good people, and I liked hanging out with them. So it wasn't a bad experience at the very least. It was amazing. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was enjoying my time there. The job was straightforward, nothing too difficult, getting paid pretty well. I mean, it was minimum wage, but California minimum wage is not bad money. And they were literally like, even the HR management, they were trying everything they can to, like, help me out in whatever thing I need. And the atmosphere, I didn't feel in any way judged or anything like that. It was honestly a good time. I'm going to share this with you guys since this is part of technically the experience category. During my lunch break one day, I used to always just grab a Starbucks and sit down in like this curb area by like these other 3 restaurants. And I one day sat there, did the same thing I literally always do every other lunch break. And I heard on a loudspeaker from one of the restaurants. To this day, I'm not 100% sure on which one it was. Well, I heard on a loudspeaker that, sir in the black or something like that, please move somewhere else or leave the property. We do not tolerate loitering. If you do not leave, we will have the police escort you out. So at first I was like, uh-oh, some crackhead is nearby or something. And I start to look around. I don't see anybody. And then they said black. I was wearing a black jacket. So I realized, wait, they're talking to me. But I always do this. What are they exactly complaining about? I've done this multiple times. To this day, I don't know what it was, but I wasn't trying to deal with authorities or something so dumb. So I just left, and yeah, that was that. So experience, again, nothing too bad. But now we're getting into where we had a little bit of complications. Let's go. Phase 3, the release. A bit before I heard of anything happening, there was a meeting we had to go to. It was different departments going at different times. It was Cap 1's turn. It was a meeting with the store manager. So we had to have a meeting with her. Apparently the store was going under a transition. Spoiler alert, I still have some people I talked to that work there. Nothing really changed. But at least regarding us. But it sounded like something was going to transition. And all of us that work 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. were now going to be overnight. And that's the one department I do not want to do. I don't want overnight. I don't want to, sleep in the day and wake up in the nights. That's just not me. I got stuff I want to do. So that sounded like it was going to be a transition that was going to happen. And I talked to my coworkers. I said, are you guys going to stay? Are you guys going to switch? What are you guys going to do? And they all sounded like they wanted to switch. I personally also started looking for other jobs because I did not want to be around for that kind of transition. However, I guess I don't know if that affected how this ended up happening, but we were approaching the end of that month where we're going to have to start seeing what we're going to do. And one random day I show up for work. I have an 8-hour shift. I'm also really looking forward to my payday because I worked a lot that week, or those 2 weeks, because it was every 2 weeks. So I thought, bro, I'm about to make some bank. I'm about to make some dough. And I show up that day. Literally, remember, I work at 4 in the morning. I arrive 4 in the morning, ready to start. The assistant manager, I get to the screening area where you're supposed to go in before you enter the actual store. And she asked me what my last name was. I said Rosales because, my last name is Rosales. And she said, okay, I need to talk to you in a bit. Again, I have no idea what's going on. No one told me anything the day before. No one told me anything. In my mind, I'm ready to start work. I need to talk to management. So I enter, she didn't even want to check my temperature. I was very confused. I'm like, don't you have to check my temperature before I go in? And she's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, something is not right here. However, go with the flow. I get to the back room, ready to clock in. I had a card and everything already. Like, I got comfortable. As soon as I clock in, it says my card is invalid or something like that. So I'm very confused because something ain't adding up. Why am I not clocking in? One of my coworkers, she walked up to me. She told me, you need to go see the assistant manager. Go. I'm like, okay, I'll go see what's going on. She was actually already waiting for me, so I was like, ew. She told me I'm being released. Not fired. Not fired. A lot of people that I've told this story to behind the scenes think I got fired. No. When you get terminated, that means you can't reapply. That means they want you out. Like, they don't want anything to do with you. They don't want you working at another one of their Walmarts. They don't want anything to do with you. I did not get fired, terminated, whatever you want to call it. I got released. Big difference. I was a seasonal. I was no longer needed. They didn't want me any longer. So they said, we're making cuts. Let's let you go. It's not about what they did. It's about how they did it. Why did I show up to a whole new shift at 4 a.m. to start a whole new work day only for you guys to cast me to the streets at 4 a.m? Now, I don't want to be rude, okay? It ain't some regular day where you can just cast me in the streets, everything's fine. No, you cast me in the streets at 4 a.m. It is still dark, and it is a public parking lot. Dude, you have no idea what can happen to me there. Now, bless the Lord, I was not out there for a long time. I handled my stuff. Everything got taken care of. But I got walked out by my supervisor. He said I was a good associate. So I not just got cast to the streets. I also had no idea what she released me for. She didn't tell me a reason. She just said we're no longer in need of your duties. You completed your assignment as a temp. I'm like, but my other associates are still here. Why am I leaving? Same department, same role, seasonals. I'm very confused. So that was very, very confusing. However, I spoke to management later on. I sent not an angry email, but an email very confused to my HR. Did you have any idea this was going on? Did you have any idea I was getting released on this day, literally day of? All that. Sent it, whatever, went back to sleep, because like I said, 4 a.m. Wake up the next day. During the day, I get a phone call by him, and he said, I had no idea this was happening. I got very confused when I saw that email. That sounded very harsh. We're going to make sure that we find out exactly what happened. And he told me that they were making cuts to a bunch of departments. At least one person. And I was that one person. But it's not about me getting released. I could care less. I have other jobs I can apply to. It's about the way they did it. Why did I get casted to the streets at 4 a.m. instead of you letting me go at the end of my shift the day before? Because yes, I worked the day before. And then the fact that my HR had no idea this was happening just shows how crappy the communication was. And my supervisor told me I was good. So why was I getting released? And my coworkers were completely fine. But like I said, because he did cuts. However, why didn't you tell me that before? It's like, why is the communication not there? Even the store manager was confused at the way they did things. Because he talked to the store manager as well, my HR. And it was just all confusing. They paid me for 4 hours of that day when I had an 8-hour shift. Should have gotten paid the full hours, but you know what? At that point, what's the point? I'm still getting paid for something, right? But, you know, there was just some stuff they could have done differently. How did I turn out from everything? Why is my shirt red? Well, let's just say I tend to be a little petty. I tend to have stuff I like to do to stick it to the man. Well, my shirt's red because this shirt isn't necessarily just a shirt I like to wear for fun. No, this shirt is actually uniform. I got a job at Target. I work at Target now. I vowed I was gonna get Walmart back in some sort of way, whether it's the slightest way possible. After what they did, I didn't wanna just leave it at that. So I got a job at a rival store. And let me tell you, my experience at Target right now has been amazing. Too early to say, I haven't actually worked properly there, like as an actual job yet. I've just been to training and orientation. But just the atmosphere, the way they call their people, it's just been amazing. And the people are really nice. It's just, honestly, I've enjoyed it much more from the little time I've been there. I'm also getting paid more than I was over there, at least even if it's temporary. And that's another thing. My position is not seasonal. They cannot release me because I completed my assignment. And even if they did, I'm pretty sure they'll release me at the end of a shift or before I even show up to a new shift. Just, it's been a great time. Honestly, it's too early for me to say if it's gonna stay like that, but at least for now, I'm enjoying where I'm at, and my turnout has been quite well. I knew good things was coming my way because I don't think I ever did something wrong, and there was something I needed to acknowledge about my time at Walmart. Some of my friends actually decided to do some investigating of their own and ask why I got released. Again, in my mind, I was good. They never criticized me. They never said anything. So it threw me off as to why I got released. One of my friends walked up to one of the assistant managers and they were like, hey, why'd you let Jeaustin go? He was good. He was a good associate. And he just responded with, are you sure about that? And this was a different assistant manager than the one that released me. And that confused me because you never said anything about me being bad, nor you ever said I was doing anything wrong. You praised me. You were good to me. You said good things about me. It goes to show how two-faced some of those people actually were. So just be careful if you work at Walmart because you never really know what's gonna end up happening. But you know what? Maybe I'm just that small fraction that had a bad experience. Anyway, take it as you wish. I work at Target now, and I'm enjoying my time there. That's gonna end it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was my experience at Walmart, from the introduction to the experience to the release to my turnout. If any of you are new, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. I drop videos every now and then. Also, check out my other platforms like Twitch, Instagram, and subscribe here. All of that, description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.